I want to move on to another type of crime. This came up in my research for this podcast. It was about a statement you made. I think it was in March 2023 about the 20 miles per hour signs being merely advisory in the city of Norwich. What's happening?
My team will love this because we have a standing joke about this. And what I am going to do, because it comes up so often that I'm actually going to flash up my notes because I carry notes with me because I want to get this right. Because, yeah.
This really caught my eye when I was looking at there's loads of news articles saying, the 20 miles per hour zones and speed limits in Norwich don't really apply.
This is one of these stories which just caught the moment, and it was almost a throwaway line. And of all the stuff that was discussed in a 3-hour meeting that I was sitting in on, it was the one line they took away. And it was just surreal the way it didn't just run in Norfolk, but it ran nationally. Yeah. But let's look at the law. The minimum speed limit in the United Kingdom is 30 miles an hour.
Yeah.
And that is set in law. Previously, and I'm going to follow this so I get the right bits of the Act. Previously, local authorities could apply to the Secretary of State for Transport to vary that. So there are certain straight bits of roads. There are some going in and out of Norwich, which, because they're residential roads, they've got street lighting on both sides, should be 30 miles an hour. And it used to be possible to apply to the Secretary of State for Transport to get a different speed limit. So some are 40, some are 50. So in other words, they went up. In 1999, the Road Traffic Act 1984, get that absolutely spot on, was amended to allow local authorities to introduce 20-mile-an-hour speed limits. And the classic example of where they're used is outside schools. But there are two types. One is with a traffic restriction order, and one is without. And if you have a traffic restriction order, the police can enforce it as a 20-mile-an-hour limit. There's a but, and I'll come to the but in a moment. If it doesn't have a 20-mile-an-hour traffic order on it, it can only be enforced at 30 miles an hour.
Oh, okay.
So there are places where people will put up 20-mile-an-hour signs as a traffic calming measure. One of the things the Department of Transport said at the time...
An official response from the department after this comment.
Well, I'm just checking whether I've got a note of the guidance, but I haven't written that down. But one of the things they said was that they understood when they spoke to the Home Office that there wouldn't be enough police resources to enforce all the 20-mile-an-hour signs that were going to be put in place. And so the Department of Transport, in their official guidance to planning officers, said you can only put in a 20-mile-an-hour area, which basically will self-enforce. So where the road conditions are such that you can't go more than 20 miles an hour, or where you put in things like chicanes or speed humps. The idea is that they should not be enforced. Now, where this has become quite topical is there are lots of problems with speeding in Norfolk. I probably get more correspondence about speeding from across the 540 parishes of Norfolk than any other single subject, because it is something that worries people. And as I mentioned earlier, we have a lot of deaths and serious injuries. Last year it was 40 fatalities and 422 serious injuries, not just injured, not near misses and frightened, but serious injuries. The death rate would have been higher, but for the quality of the vehicles on the road and the protection of the passengers, the quality of the first responders at the roadside, and the quality of our trauma teams in the NHS, who do a fantastic job. So it's a real problem. And a lot of people say, well, we've got a piece of road through our village and people bat through it at 50 miles an hour. We must turn it into a 20. Well, the first thing is they don't understand that would involve chicanes and speed humps. They don't want those. They also don't understand that the police don't have the resources to come and stand there every day with a ray gun and enforce it. And so you've got this tension, and this is where this story came from, because everyone assumes you put a 20-mile-an-hour sign up in a red circle and it's enforceable in law, so why aren't the police doing it? Well, the answer is the police would like to do more enforcement. They can only do it if there's a traffic order in place. Otherwise, they can only enforce it at 30. But actually, they'd far rather that the conditions of the road enforced it and made it effective. In other words, don't put them all over the county. Look at what's happened in South Wales.
Yeah.
You know, they did put them all over the place, and it was the public that pushed back. The public, one part of the public asked for them, the other part of the public opposed them.
White ones. Yeah.
Go for the headphones.
Oh. Yeah. I mean, we were, because when I was just before you came on, I was explaining. It was like this is an actual thing, and Jake did bring up that Wales, there was a significant backlash to the implementation of a 20-mile-per-hour minimum speed across Wales, which angered a lot of people. I don't see that being translated here, the 20-mile-per-hour zones, but that did clarify. Do you know? So let's say Bluebell Road, the one just outside the university here. Mm-hmm. Is that a traffic order? Is there a traffic order?
I couldn't tell you. And for a police officer, that's the problem. You turn up at somewhere and you see cars going past. How does that officer know that that's got a restriction order in place? They can, of course, phone in very quickly and get it checked. But, you know...
Who's going to know?
It's got a 20-mile-an-hour sign, so in theory, it should be complied with.
Yeah.
It's designed to be a traffic calming measure, but in law, if you want to prosecute someone, you know, there's no point putting them in front of a judge if the defence is going to say, but my lord, in this country, the minimum speed limit's 30. There's no traffic order on that particular piece of road, therefore the signage is inaccurate.
And then they somewhat get away with it.
Yeah.